All right. Hey, all you Whodats out there. Hope y'all are doing well. I'm Phil with NewOrleansSaintsHistory.com. Visitors to my site know that I like to tell stories of Saints history using old pictures I get out of magazines and books. And today I want to do something just a little bit different. I want to go ahead and tell a story here, but instead of really telling a story, I want to show how I actually get the image and put it up on my site, the things I do with it, the graphics editing, if you will, to take it, the picture, and put it on my site. So we got here before you some cards. Been collecting cards. Again, if you visited my site, you know I have quite a few cards I have scanned and put up on the pages. Well, this one right here is some cards from 78, 79, and 1980. I'm using the free open source editor, graphics editor called GIMP, G-I-M-P. It's a free, completely free editor, no strings attached to it. It works great. If you are looking to try out a graphics editor and don't want to shell out a ton of money, I suggest you try out GIMP. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get into this. You have all these cards right here. Trying to decide which card we're going to do. Which card y'all want to do? I mean, they got some really good players here. We got Tony Galbraith. Y'all remember Tony Galbraith back in the 70s? Awesome fullback for the Saints. He was the thunder of thunder and lightning, him and Chuck Muncie together. And he was an awesome player. He really was. Saints fans today probably don't remember him, but he was a very, very underrated running back at the time. We have Tommy Myers, again, another top-notch player from the 70s. Very aggressive player. Played free safety. Actually held the record for interceptions, career interceptions, for a long time until Dave Waymer broke it. What else we got? Here's another one with Tony Galbraith. Henry Childs down here in the lower left-hand corner. Awesome tight end. Ike Harris, good receiver for us. And, of course, Wes Chandler. Wes Chandler made his mark with the Chargers, but he was quite a good receiver. Him and Archie had a good thing going. But I know who y'all want to do. Y'all want to do the guy I want to do. The meanest man in football. In the upper right-hand corner, we have, Conrad Dobler. We picked him up from the St. Louis Cardinals. Guy was like I say, he earned the title, the meanest man in football. We had him for about 2 seasons, and he was only healthy one of them in 1979, and the offense really went to town when everything was working for the Saints offense in 1979. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead. Let's do the one with Conrad Dobler, okay? All right, y'all. Let's get this show on the road. We gotta go ahead and get this Conrad Dobler card off this big master copy of Saints cards. I went ahead, you can tell, I just threw a bunch of Saints cards up on the scanner, scanned them all up so we could play with them later on. So we need to get the card with Conrad Dobler out of here and start working on it. Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta show y'all this. Right here, check this out. What? Look at that. Little yellow ball. Bounce it around the screen. I can put it over items. Y'all can see what I'm talking about now. Is that too cool or what? What? All right, y'all, get serious. We got to get serious now. All right, going to get the Conrad Dobler card out of here. To do that, we use the selection tool right here. Rectangle select tool. Click on that. You can see right here, the way GIMP does it, they have their multiple tools and drop-down menus here. You click one time on a bunch of these tools, you can actually select a different tool. That's if you want to select something with a circle, watch, see? Different settings for that. But we're going to use the rectangle tool, okay? You're going to get rid of that right there, select none, get rid of that. And we're going to use the rectangle select tool. Okay, so whatever you want to copy out of the picture, just go ahead and just use your left mouse button and kind of position the box square over what you want to take out of the picture. And there it is. Okay, that's what we're going to be selecting. Okay, and we go ahead, and what you do now on the keyboard, there's a few different ways to do it. You can use edit, you can hit copy, or you can go ahead, what we're going to do, use the keyboard, just Control C at the same time, and that takes whatever's inside the little box there, and that copies it to the clipboard. Next thing we're going to do, again with the edit menu, the drop down, go to paste as, come over here to the drop down box, and we're going to paste as a new image right here. Click on that, and there it is. Went ahead, took what was in the square, made a new image out of it. Okay, all right. You can tell right here, we're gonna need to mess with this a little bit before we start to actually do any editing to it. First thing you obviously need to do is we got to straighten it out. GIMP here has the rotate tool. Okay, and again you can see here there's several different tools to make the box stay. I just right click with the mouse over the tool, and there's a few different tools here. We're going to use the rotate tool right now. Click on the rotate tool and make sure that got the little rotate icon going on, and click anywhere on the image. You notice here they've got a little dialog box pops up right here. You can rotate it one of two ways. You can actually grab the image, move it like thusly, or you can go over to the dialog box and you can click the little arrow keys. All right, see how it decreases the angle, increases the angle. All right, we're going to go ahead, we're going to start to straighten it out here. All right, get it about like that. Go ahead, rotate right there for the time being. Now what I like to do, I like to go ahead and get what here in GIMP what they call a guide. And to do that, very simple, you can just put your cursor over the ruler, the top and bottom, you see the numbered rulers here. Just go ahead, the cursor, see my yellow ball there? See that? Just drag it down and kind of get it in place, okay? And that's going to help us line up the edge of the image to get it straight. Again, you can do the same thing on the up and down ruler. Kind of get it straight there. Okay, we're going to go back to our rotate tool. Click on rotate. All right. And you can see which way we need to go. That right corner needs to come up a little bit. Okay, about right there. We're going to click rotate. That kind of gets it in position. Go back to the move tool, because the move tool is what we use for to move the width, and kind of get that over a good part right there. Okay, what I like to do in the case of these old cards, because they're really not, the edges aren't really straight sometimes. They're old cards, sometimes they didn't cut them just right. I'll take the guide and I'll try and find a straight edge of the picture, all right, and kind of line it up on the straight edge of the picture. And that kind of gives me a better idea of if the picture is straight or not. Like I said, sometimes the edges are not always straight. I'm going to go to the top here. You can see right here. Okay, come down a little bit. Okay, that's pretty. What we can do, we can use the zoom tool now. Right here, the little magnifying glass. Click on that, and you can drag make a little square over it, and it zooms down to the piece you just selected. Okay, you can kind of scroll up and down here, get an idea how straight it is. I'm going to do the rotate tool one more time. Click that. We want to bring this corner up a little bit. All right, go back to the move tool. And that looks pretty straight right there to me. How's it look on the edge there? Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, so we're going to go ahead now. Don't forget to take your guides and bring it out to the edge of the card now. Okay, bring it out about like that, about like that. We'll zoom out. Okay, we got at 142%. Bring it to a view we can work with, 50%. And go ahead and put guides up on either side here. The right and the bottom. Okay, it's kind of hard. You really can't see the bottom. The scan didn't come out too good. My cheap scanner let me down again. So just find you a good spot right there. All right, so now you see you got the edges of the card. Go ahead, we're going to use now what's called the crop tool. Okay, that's this square right here, the upper right-hand edge of the toolbox. Give that a click. Looks like a little scalpel. And we're going to go ahead and drag it. Left mouse button on the, hold that down while we drag the square out to the guides. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and click anywhere on the inside. You can see the card is the bright side is what we're working with. The dim side is what we're cutting off. Double click on it. There it is. Okay. Get rid of the guides. Click on the mouse tool, the move tool. And you just kind of drag them off right there. All right. Okay. Let's go ahead. Let's get at 100%, get the right size here. Okay, here's the size of our image. Okay, that's at 100%. That's what it's going to look like when you go ahead and put it on a website. It's 764 by 1068. 1068 tall and 764 wide. That is a little bit too big for what I want to do with it. So we need to bring it down to a size that'll fit good on the website. To do that, you go over to the image item right here on the menu. Click one time on that. You've got a item called Scale Image. Okay, you're going to scale the image. All right, and the way this tool works, you got a width and a height. You also have a little lockbox right here. Okay, if I want to keep the sides proportional, the height and the width all equal the way to the original, I got to make sure this little box is locked. Watch, if I go ahead, if I unlock it, see it there? Now it doesn't, it's disconnected, broken. If I go ahead and I do one side, okay, I'm going to bring the height down to 286. Scale it. Okay, yeah, no, that's ugly. We don't want that. Control Z. You make a mistake, Control key with Z, push them both at the same time, undoes whatever terrible mistake you just did. You can hide it, nobody will know about it. Okay, let's go back to the scale image right here. Okay, now we've got it locked right here. Now watch what's going to happen. I'm going to bring it down to the same size, 206. Okay, scale. Look at that. It keeps it all, and we're still at 100%. So whenever you're scaling an image, you want to go ahead and make sure you have that box locked. All right, Control Z brings it, undoes what you just did. So we're going to go ahead, image, scale image. For my site, New Orleans Saints History, all the cards, I try to keep them at a height of 700. Now watch this. Box is locked, automatically brings it to a width of 500. 700 by 500, that works great for me. Okay, 501, I like it to be 500, so what I do in this case right here, I unlock it and bring it down 1 pixel. 1 pixel is not going to make a difference. Scale it down. I said scale it down. Oh, there we go. My super fast computer. All right, here we go. Okay, that's going to be the size we're working with right there. That'll work good. That'll fit just fine on the site. All right, so we go over here. What I do now, you really don't want to work on the original copy of the image. You don't want to do that, because if you make a mistake 30 minutes down the line, you got to redo everything. Even hitting Control Z, you got to undo everything, all the good stuff you did. All right, So what we do, we go ahead and we create another layer. That's one of the cool things about this GIMP program. You can work on layers. A layer is simply nothing more than a copy, okay? And we're going to create a duplicate layer, a copy of what we're working on. Down here, you see they've got the like a little copy symbol, a Windows copy symbol. A little box comes up, create a duplicate of the layer, add it to the image. Click on that, and look right here. See, you've got a copy of the image which you're working on. And just a kind of quick little illustration of the beauty of layers, I can work on this and it'll completely leave this alone. Go ahead, I'm gonna get the pencil tool right here, and you know, make you a mistake. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. But look, see that? You just did it on the top layer. The bottom layer stays pristine and pure. All right. Okay, here we go. We're just going to Control Z. Oh, you know what? Instead, if you have a layer that you just can't work with anymore, you can come down here to this X right here. Okay, delete this layer. Boom, it's gone. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's make a copy of the layer, and we're going to work on the top layer here. All right. Let's see. Just kind of looking at it, I kind of want to fix this edge up a little bit. Click on the magnifying glass. See, that kind of get a little bit of the shadow from the scan is still up there. So what we're going to do, we're going to use this tool right here. This is the clone tool. Again, there's a couple of different tools. Right click on the tool right here. You see clone, perspective, clone, and healing. Okay, we're going to use the clone tool right now. We're going to probably use the healing tool a little bit later on. I have no idea what the perspective clone tool does, so we're not going to mess with that. Instead, we're going to use the clone tool. Okay, I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you see it right there. See the little area, little dots all around? That is the area that you're going to clone it. You're going to make a copy. Everything that's inside that little circle right there is going to get copied. Okay, and you can adjust the size of what you're making a clone of, the area, simply by using the bracket keys, the open bracket key and the close bracket key. Close bracket key, see that's to make it bigger. You're gonna make a copy of a larger area. Okay, ignore the little yellow ball. Don't worry about the little yellow ball. There's nothing to do with anything. It's little dots around it. The closed bracket key makes the area smaller. That's actually called a brush. Okay, in nerdy terms, it's a brush. Okay, that's what you're doing. And kind of give you an idea. Okay, see that's the area right there. That's the way they make the clone tool work. You're going to hold the control key down on the keyboard, and you're going to left click with the mouse. Okay, so let's do like right here. Okay. Okay, see how the circle still stays right there? That is the area that we're made a copy of. And all right, let's try some. Okay, we're going to change the brush, the hardness of the brush. Right there, okay. See, that's the piece that we made a copy of right here. What I did with this right here, I changed the hardness of the brush. To kind of give a better example of what you're applying. Okay, you can go here. You have different size brushes here. Basically, what you're doing, you're making like a softer copy. See? Okay. See, it makes a little bit softer, a little bit more subtle of what's going on there. Okay. Okay. We're going to Control Z all this stuff out of here. Just a little observation of what the clone tool does. Okay, we're going to start off. Like I said, we're going to do something about this edge right here. We're going to use the open bracket key. The open bracket key is right next to the P key, okay? And the close bracket key is right next to the open bracket key, just to the right of the P key. What we're going to do here, we're going to get a little piece right here. This white area right here, we want this to be white too. We're going to go ahead, hold the control key down, click one time with the left mouse button. There it is. That's what we're going to be doing. Okay, and you see if I can kind of pass the brush over. What you're doing, you're copying, and as you move the brush, the copy area, the clone area, actually moves in respect to the brush. So let's say, okay, you see how it is right there? If I would keep on going, just get a little bit low, okay, right there. Okay, see it starts off white. Okay, see? The brush is now moving into the blue section, and it's consequently applying where it's going. It's taking the blue and applying it there. We don't want to do that. We just want the white. So that's just an illustration to kind of, you got to keep conscious of where your brush is and what you're passing it over. Okay, went ahead, Control Z, got all that out of the way. Let's go ahead and we're going to start this again. Okay, get your nice little portion of the picture that you want to copy and pass it over like that. Oh, see, I kind of, there we go. Using a mouse sometimes kind of go off all over the place. Little thing I want to show you right here, kind of make things either when you have a long area that you're basically just copying the whole thing over, which you can do. I'm gonna bring this down just a hair, and left mouse button, Control, one time. Okay, you got your clone area. Click one time, and you bring your brush all the way out, and then you hit the Shift key. And look at that. Can you see that line right there? It's going to basically just copy everything in a whole line. Instead of having to drag it, it kind of like automates it and brings it all down here. We're going to do the same thing over here. Left mouse button, Control key, get you a nice area there, and start kind of brushing it up, passing it over, cleaning up the edge. And go ahead and use our little shift technique here. Control key, left mouse button, click one time where you want it to start. Scroll all the way down, hold the Shift key, get you where you want to be. Try this again. One time, Shift. See. All right, we're gonna get this, y'all. We are seriously gonna get this. You know what? Let's change the size of the brush a little bit. That might make it a little bit easier to work with. Click one time, Shift. There we go. I think my yellow ball is kind of messing me up a little bit here. See? Anyway, we're gonna trudge on here. Okay, so we're gonna look at the edges here. All the rest of these edges, yeah, they look okay. Okay, so go ahead. We're gonna bring it back down to 100%. Okay. You see there's different little tabs here, different little applications for GIMP here. The one we want is the Layers tab. Okay, that brings up our layers. Just a little quick view of some of this other stuff. Here's an undo history. Every little thing you did to the image is right here. Okay, if you need to go back, just find your point where you want to start again from, and you just click on it and it brings it from there. What we got here? This is open documents. If I want to open up another document, recent documents. This right here is the fonts when you're working with text, and I'm sure we'll do that one day. This right here is the tool options for whatever tool you're working with over here. It comes with a set of options. This little looks like almost like a little TV, little screen that gives you the tool options. Okay, you see the different. I said the brush, all the different options, and I'm not going to get into them right now. But that's what these little tabs on the top are for. And with GIMP, you can actually add tabs and take tabs away. I'm not going to get into that right now. That's a whole nother set of videos here. Okay, going back to our layers. Okay, got our layers here. Okay, and see right here, you can kind of click on the little eye right here, and it turns the layer on and off. That's the layers off, the layers on. Okay, and you can kind of get an idea of what's going on with it, and that'll come into play a little bit later on. Okay, let's get right here, and yeah, there's a few little things we can do to Mr. Dobler here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to start off We're going to use the clone tool right here, but we're going to zoom in really tight, really tight. I'm going to show you some of the stuff this clone tool can do with an image. All right. Okay, we're in kind of tight. Click on the clone tool. Okay, see we got our little circle there. Going to get a piece right there, and we're just going to kind of go over all these little spots in his hair. Oh. Okay. And again, watching where the, okay, we're getting kind of close, you see here. Let's, got a brushing. Let's go ahead and let's just kind of click on it. Okay. You know what? Let's go ahead, let's try this. Got a pretty soft brush. Let's try a little bit harder brush. Okay. And you see the size of the brush changes. We want to go ahead, we want to adjust it here. Here we go. Gonna get us a piece, clone a piece, kind of go over. All right, see? There we go. Scroll around. Mount the brush a little bit smaller, and you'll see that making the size of the brush, it keeps it respective of the place you already chose. Okay. Okay. So go ahead with, again, just applying this little piece of the image, applying it softly over some of these other parts of the image. And this, I mean, this is pretty tedious. This is tedious work, but it makes a big difference. Okay. I'm going to go ahead right now. I've shown you the clone tool. Clone tool superimposes whatever area you've chosen and applies it to where you're clicking. We're going to mess with the healing tool right now. Okay. Again, right mouse click on the clone tool. We're going to choose the healing tool. Okay, the healing tool is a little bit different than the clone tool in that how the clone tool will take a copy and superimpose it over an area. What the healing tool does, use it the same way. Find you a piece that you want to use. Let's zoom in a little bit closer on his face here. Okay, what the healing tool does is whatever area that you choose, instead of like the clone tool superimposing it on, it kind of tries to blend the the part you've copied into the piece you're copying over. Okay, and sometimes you got to change up, especially with tones and different colors and stuff. Change up the area where you're looking, where you're trying to copy from. Because one area does not fix everything. Get in there and get that mustache, that old 70s mustache there. So we got in really close. Bring the sides of that brush down a little bit. Clean that up a little bit. Zoom back out to 100%. Okay, what else can we do here? A lot of little imperfections here. Okay, we could fix that up. Okay, this right here, you see, it's real close to the edge. There's a couple of different little options you can do right here. What I usually do, I'll take the clone tool. Okay, I'll get a nice large area right here. Something says, yeah, get an idea how big I need, and look what it does. It kind of took that and just with the edge right here, because the healing tool, if I'll show you right here, choose the healing tool. All right, say I want to right here. Okay, see, I get that right there. I'm gonna go ahead. I want to fix this piece up right here. Okay, look what it does. Even though it's trying to blend all the white, the brown into everything, and it just doesn't work. That's when you want to use the clone tool instead, and you just want to grab a good piece of the image and superimpose it over the bad part of the image. Okay, let's zoom back out to 100%. See what we got right here. Yeah, still a lot of little things to fix on this right here. I mean, the card is from 1978. I mean, it's a 50-year-old card. No telling where it's been, what's been done to it. Okay, we're gonna get really close right here. So yeah, you're gonna have a lot of little things to do here. So while I'm fixing up all this right here, let's talk about Mr. Conrad Dobler. Okay, Saints fans will remember him. Like I said, he was the meanest man in football. Tons of YouTube videos about him. A very interesting character, very interesting guy. And as his nickname suggests, he was a pretty aggressive player. Okay, it's that right there. Let's zoom out, because that may be like the twinkle. So you don't want to take the twinkle out. So sometimes you gotta kind of step back and look and see what all is going on with the picture. Okay, so we just want to get this little piece right here. That's what we want to do. Okay, again, we get the healing tool. And we could use the clone tool in this situation too. That probably wouldn't hurt at all, but we're going to use the healing tool. Okay, there we go. So you get in really tight, really close, but it makes a difference, you know? I mean, yeah, it looks fine. Okay, Conrad Dobler, meanest man in football. Saints picked him up. Dick Nolan had just taken over the Saints in 1978, and he was looking to try and build a team around Archie Manning. Archie Manning was a very talented quarterback who always had a terrible team around him. I'm sure you heard a lot of the old Saints fans always talk about Archie Manning. If he would have been on any other team in the world, in the NFL, he would have been in the Hall of Fame. And yeah, a lot of that is true. A lot of that is true. Archie never had much of a team around him. So Dick Nolan knew this. Actually, the coach before him, Hank Stram, had started doing it and didn't quite accomplish it. Hank Stram was fired at the end of 1977. Dick Nolan took over, and he started assembling some offensive players. One of them was Conrad Dobler. He wanted a little bit of aggression on that offensive line. So Conrad Dobler was one of the guys that he brought in. And the result was, obviously, the Saints' offensive line got much better. Dobler was injured he came in 78, and he was injured most of the 78 season. And Saints offense did good, but when Dobler was around in 78, and they had a few other pieces in place too, in 79, the offense got much better. But anyway, this card is from 78 when he first got to the Saints team from the St. Louis Cardinals. There's a lot of stories about Conrad Dobler. One of the interesting ones, well, not really a story. I was watching as a young kid one time. I think it was an exhibition game. The Saints were playing against the Houston Oilers. Conrad had injured his arm, his hand. And if you see some pictures of him on the internet, he's got this humongous cast on his arm. I forget which one it is, but anyway, it looks like a giant battering ram. And he, being the aggressive player that he was, he used that big taped up arm to good effect and would use it as a club. And I remember watching him in an exhibition game one time, and the Houston Oilers were rushing Archie. There was one defensive lineman on one side of Dobler, one on the other side. And Dobler, he's trying to kick one on one side, and at the other side, he's got his giant battering ram arm swinging at the other one. And yeah, he was quite a character. The announcers, I remember the game, were quite amused at that watching Dobler use his arm to great effect. Anyway, meanest man in football. He stayed with the Saints till 1979, and in 1980, when everything just fell apart, that was the year of the Aints, year of the Bagheads. he had actually moved on to Buffalo. And I think he moved on from somewhere after that. I don't remember right off the bat where he moved to. But yeah, he made an impact while he was with the Saints. Definitely. When he was there, the Saints line was a very good offensive line. I think in '79 they were gave up 17 sacks, which I can't remember if that was the best in the NFL at the time. It was definitely one of the best. A 16-game schedule, only gave up 17 sacks. And Dobler he wasn't the only offensive lineman. They had some other good guys: John Hill, Emmanuel Sanders, J.T. Taylor. And, he was definitely one of the reasons for the improvement. Okay, let's go. Yeah, we kind of fixed this up a little bit. Just to give you a little idea, again, using layers. So you can turn this layer off. That's what our card looked like before we started with it. See, we got a little something going on there. Making it look a little bit better. Okay. I think we're real okay as far for now, for all the little mistakes and stuff now. What I'm going to try now, we're going to try and mess with just how it looks. Okay, it's white, it's kind of washed out. The card wasn't in great shape that I got from it. You could probably tell. So what we're going to do here, we're going to try and bring the color out a little bit. And this is where I admit that I'm just a novice. There's a few different techniques. You come over here to the Colors tab. Click on that and look there. There's a whole bunch of tools there. And I wish I knew how to use each and every one of them, but I do not. So what we're going to do, I'm going to try and grab the tools that I am familiar with. We're going to start with, let's try the brightness contrast. Okay, click on brightness contrast. There's our dialog box there. Choices of brightness and contrast. Increase the brightness a little bit, and we're going to increase the contrast a bit. And it's not really really not coming out better, is it? Okay, let's not use that right there. Let's try and add a little bit of saturation to it. Add a little bit of color. Saturation kind of brings the colors out a little bit. The saturation tool, it's a fine line between looking okay and too much. That's why you normally want to use the arrow keys here. If you use this right here, I mean, it doesn't take much to get it to where it looks unnatural. So I'm going to go ahead, just use the arrow keys. Bring that up. And this is a really washed out image. Okay, bring it back a little bit. Let's stay right. It's just right here. Okay, we're going to that right there, and you kind of get an idea of, yeah, it brought a little bit more color in it. Not a tremendous amount more, but a little bit more. Okay, let's see what else we got. See if anything else we can do with the color. Oh, there is one tool here, again in the colors, exposure. Okay, click on the exposure. Yeah, exposure and black level. Exposure is pretty much, well, the whiteness of it. I'm going to try and just kind of drop that down again. It doesn't take much. Just slight little minute increments. You can really go overboard with it. And the black level, sometimes the black level, and that's kind of bringing out the darkness a little bit. There we go. That's making a little bit of a difference, huh? Okay, I'm going to leave it right there. There are brought down the exposure, the whiteness, brightness, and the black level here. All right. And again, that's doing a little something to it, huh? Okay. I think I'm gonna take this time right now. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna save it. Okay. A little bit about saving in GIMP. File. There's save as. Okay. When you save an image in GIMP, it is saved as a .xcf file. Okay, that is the native format extension for GIMP, .xcf. When you save it, okay, it comes up. We're going to put it. We're just going to put it on the desktop for now. Okay, and we're going to call it. And this is kind of a. We'll call it Conrad Dobler 1978 Pops card. XCF. And what the XCF format does, it actually saves it as a. It saves the layers. It saves all the undo. Anything you do to it, it saves all that. To save it as a JPEG, a GIF, or a PNG, you can't use the save as command. You've got to use the export as command. And that, when I first started using GIMP, that took a little bit of getting used to, but I got used to it. Export saves it as a JPEG, GIF, or a PNG. And there's a couple other formats, PDF and SVG, but we're not worried about that right now. We're just worried about images that you can put on a website. JPEG, GIF, and PNG. And yeah, that does not save the layers. That's going to save this as a flat image. Okay. But for right now, we're still working with it. We're not done to it. We're going to save it as the XCF and keep on keeping on with it. Okay, so we got a little bit of color in here now. I'm going to, there's a little tool that I like to use called the high pass filter. And I usually always apply it just to see what it does. Sometimes it makes a really big difference, sometimes not so much. So what I usually do here, I have my working copy, I have my original copy, I make a duplicate of the working copy here. Duplicate of the layer I'm working on. I go up right here, you have layer modes, and here they are, and all they are, it applies different things to the layer, and there's all kind of different things. Make it lighter, make it darker, make the certain pixels stand out more. What we're going to do with this layer right here, we're going to put it to a soft light mode. Okay, so up here it's soft light mode, and you see it made a little bit brighter there. You turn the layer off using the eyeball switch, and it makes it a little light and bright there. We're going to go over here. We're going to find the filters command. Click on filters. Go down to enhance. Go over to this drop down box, and again, there's a whole bunch of different tools here. We're going to use the high pass. I set the high pass filter. Now watch what it's going to look like after I click on it. Okay, see, it kind of did a little bit of something to it, and you can come here to the contrast and the standard deviation, and what this high pass filter does, in my opinion, it kind of, some of the ragged edges, it kind of smooths it out a little bit. All right, which using the contrast. Okay, again, my super slow computer's taking a little bit to keep up with the slider. I'm going to put it about right there. And again, you can use standard deviation too. And you just kind of move it around and get an idea how you want it. And all this is doing is it's adjusting the pixels, the color of the pixels of the image. All right. And yeah, it's just back and forth, till you kind of get it to where you like it. And there's really no one setting for all images. Okay, we'll leave it right there. Okay, our high pass filter. Okay, and at this point right here, I go ahead. We're going to merge it, because this has the layer mode. This isn't really a true copy of this right here. It's a copy of this with a mode applied to it. So what I go ahead right now, down here there's a little icon right here, the merge icon. What this does, this takes the chosen layer and it merges it with the layer immediately below it. And again, let's get a look at there's a before and after. Before and after. Yeah, we're bringing a little bit of color into it. I said we really didn't have a whole lot of work to work with at the beginning, but we're doing what we can here. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to try here is a tool called the noise reduction. Filters, again, it's in the enhance menu. Noise reduction here, okay, right there, fourth one from the top. And let's see, and if you so right here, it kind of, what it does, it smooths, takes some of those rough edges and kind of smooths it out a little bit. See? That's a strength of 7. Bring it down. See, it looks kind of grainy. A little grainy at 0. Bump it up. 1. Keep going up, and it just kind of smooths out some of the roughness of it. Let's leave it at 6. Okay. All right. A noise reduction at 6. Okay, and again, looking at this right here, after we did the noise reduction, I can see a couple little spots on him, like right here. Let's go ahead and zoom down really, really tight and close here. I see the little spot right there and a little spot right here. We're going to go ahead and use the healing tool. Make that brush a little bit bigger. And this is where the healing tool really shows its worth right here. You're going to find your little piece close to the imperfection. All right, you see how it goes down? The imperfection goes all the way down. You're going to go ahead and find a little piece. Get you that piece right there, and then just drag it over. See, kind of takes it out a little bit. Okay, right there. There we go. See, kind of took the piece right here underneath his eye and just kind of put it over there. Kind of took over, went over that edge right here. Little piece of yuckiness right there. Again, we're just going to grab a nice piece that works good and just kind of put it over there. Okay, that kind of looks, you know what, I'm going to undo, Control Z, and we're going to try a different brush here. And again, you can just double click on the tool that you're using. The tool options come up with a double click over it. We're going to make that brush a little bit softer. Let's make it real soft. Softest they got. Yeah. Okay, again, open bracket key. Bring the size of the brush down. Get you a nice little piece, and then just kind of work over it. Kind of hard when you turn that stupid thing off. All right, see? Okay, kind of go over it there. All right. Kind of fix that up a little bit. There's a little something right here. We can kind of get rid of that. Yeah. Again, just kind of putting it over there. There we go. And don't be afraid to put the healing tool over it a couple of times. Sometimes it takes a couple applications of the healing tool to bring everything in right. Okay, bring it back to 100%. See what we got here. All right, going to go back to our layers tab. That's the before, that's the after. Before, after. Okay. I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it right now. And since we've already have the extension, Conrad Dobler, 1978 Topps card, XCF. I need my ball, y'all. There we go. Okay, going back to the file. We're going to save it. Don't need to click Save As. Okay, that's it. That's our latest and greatest copy of Mr. Conrad Dobler. And because right now what I'm going to do, I got it pretty much well how I want it. I like it like this, but I'm going to try a couple of things, okay? My colors, show y'all a couple more tools here. There's a couple of tools right here, the curves tool and the levels tool, all right? You know what, before I do that, I'm going to try the brightness contrast tool one more time. It may not have worked because it was so bleached out, but I find the brightness contrast tool, sometimes you can really get some nice effects. Okay, now you see we kind of got a little bit of color in it now. We can use the brightness contrast tool, kind of bring that color out just a little bit more, you know. I mean, it's still, the whiteness is still there, but it's getting better. It's getting better. Okay, we're going to stop right there. Okay, brightness contrast tool, got that a little bit. These other two tools are the levels and curves tool. Okay, we're going to start with the levels tool. Okay, the levels tool. All right, it looks kind of intimidating. I'm not going to lie. When I first started using GIMP, it's like I didn't want to have nothing to do with this. But I'm not going to try to even explain what the graph is right here. All I'm going to tell you is you go over here, you grab the little squares, triangles, and you can move it around and it makes the image, darker and lighter. That one right there. Same thing over here. Basically what it's doing, the one bug, let's just call it a bug, adjusts the white pixels, one adjusts the black pixels. Okay, see, we can make it a real light, but we don't want to do that. We want to make it color kind of stand out a little bit. Okay, this right here is the highlights. I think it's the highlights, shadows, midtones. It's in the middle. This would be a midtone. You can get some pretty pronounced effects with it. See, makes a little bit more of a difference. Okay, we'll leave it right there. Down here, the output levels, again, just more adjustments you can make. Okay, want to take some of the blackness out, take some of the whiteness out. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it about right there. Okay, click OK. All right. Okay, that's the levels tool. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead make a. I'm pretty much just leave it right there. But what I want to do, so I don't mess it up, I'll make another layer just to show y'all. And we're gonna work on that layer right there. I'm gonna show you the curves tool. The curves tool works kind of similar to the levels tool, and it changes the darkness and lightness of the pixels, but it kind of like it does them all at once. Okay, and you can kind of like go up a little bit, down, and again just pulling the line down makes it darker, pulling it up makes it lighter. All right, and again it's just moving that bad boy up and down, getting it just right, just like you want it. Okay, we got that a little bit too light. Okay, you know what, okay, leave it right there. Let's see if it made a. Oh yeah, I like that. Let's go ahead, let's merge it down right there, and we got our copy right there. Okay, I think we've fiddled with this enough. I think I'm just going to leave it right here. It's still a little on the white side, a little on the bright side. But I'm just going to leave it like this. I'm going to put it up on the website just like this. And we're going to go ahead, of course. We're going to save it. Okay. All right. And at this point right here, see all this white border around here that we went over? What I like to do, I like to create a border around the image. I go down here, there's a command down here to create a new layer and add it to the image. But what this one does, it doesn't copy anything. Dialog box comes up. We are going to fill this one. You can fill it with different colors for whatever reason you want. If you want to make a background with a blue background or green background or purple background. But what we're going to do, we're going to fill it with transparency. That makes it almost like a clear piece of glass we're going to put over it, if you will. Clear piece of plastic, okay? See-through, all right? There's our layer right here. You can see what's got the little transparency thing going on there, okay? What we're going to do here, we're going to put the border on this layer right here. I find sometimes if you put the border on these other existing layer that's already got it doesn't show up as well. So we created a new blank layer. We're going to go over to the select option on the menu here, and we're going to select all. Okay, see that? All right, now See how we talked about the selection box? Now the whole layer is selected. But the thing is, what's selected is the transparent layer. None of this is selected here. Whatever we do here or try to copy or whatever, it's not going to affect any of this right here. It's not going to affect it. It's not going to copy it because we are on the uppermost layer. Sometimes, just a quick little tip, if you're trying to do something in a graphics editor and it's just being stupid, you're applying stuff and it's just not happening, check and see what layer you're on, okay? Or check and see something is selected. You may have something incorrect selected. Anyway, I've just run into that myself numerous times, and when you finally realize what you did, you feel kind of silly. But anyway, that's just a little something to think about. Okay, once again, we've got this uppermost layer chosen, selected. We're going to make a border, and there's actually an option up here for this select for border. Okay, right here, you can do different things with the selection. What we're going to do, we're going to create a border. Okay, you can choose the size of the border, and I find just a 1-pix border. You can make the border style smooth. It kind of, to me, it well, yeah, we'll do it smooth. You'll see what a smooth border looks like. Okay, right now, it doesn't look like much, but we've got like a 1-pix gap completely all around the image selected. Okay, so what we're going to do here, we're going to make sure our colors, we got black and white chosen right here. You can choose other colors, but for right now, we're just going to use black and white. Make sure the black is on the foreground. Okay, on top. We're going to go right here to the bucket fill tool. Click on the bucket fill tool, okay? Got your bucket fill tool, and it signifies they got a little bucket. Okay, you're gonna come over here. Just take this goofy yellow ball off, and you just pass it over. You see how it got like the little no-go sign right there? You're gonna pass over the cursor and see it changes to a black square and a white square, all right? And you're gonna go ahead, and that means you are over the gap, over the selected area, and just click one time, all right? And what you have just done, it's kind of hard to see, you've just filled in the selected area, 1-pix around the image. You've got that filled in with a black border. And to make any selection go away, select, and there's none. You can also use Shift-Control-A to remove a selection, and consequently, you can use Control-A, just like you can in any text editor, to select everything. Okay, select none. And yeah, you can kind of see that a little bit. Kind of hard to see against the black background of my working area here. And sometimes what you can do, you can leave it just like that. That works fine. What I like to do is I go up to filters, okay? And I go to blur. And by far the most used blur tool I use is Gaussian Blur. Okay, and what that's going to do, see what it did? It just kind of softened up the border all the way around. And you look over here, you see the values, X and Y value 1.5. Okay, that, as you can see it, that kind of just obliterates it. I've got a preset in here, a 0.75. All right. And let's see what that did. Yeah, a little bit of needs a little bit of a border there. You know what? I'm gonna yeah, let's Control Z. Undo it. I don't like that. Okay. We're gonna try the Gaussian blur again, but this time instead of a 0.75, let's try a 0.5. And this is kind of funky here. You can try and slide it, which that's just, yeah, I mean, good luck with that. What I usually do, I just go ahead, you got the cursor right there, just use the keys, arrow keys. We're gonna go ahead and make it a 0.50. And you can hit the tab key and it automatically goes down to, because it's locked, see, there's a little lock thing again. Keeps everything in proportion. Okay. All right, that makes our border a little more subtle. Okay, I kind of like that. That's a little more subtle there. Okay, what I'm gonna do now, I've got my 3 layers, my border layer, my working layer, and my original. And that's what we started with, guys. And that's what we got now. I'd say it's a little bit of an improvement. You know, if you happen to be a GIMP expert and you got some ideas, some tips, suggestions for me, hey, I'd love to hear them. Put them in the comments. I'd love to learn how to use this program better. But for right now, for me, I think that's good enough where I'm at. So you come over here. One more time, I'm going to save it. Okay, our final copy right there is saved. I'm going to go over here, right-click on any of the layers. There is a command. You got two commands right here: merge visible layers and flatten image. I'll be honest with y'all, I have no idea what the difference between the two is. Okay, so I just use either one. To me, does the same thing. So we're going to click flatten image, and you see it turns it into one layer. So it takes all three layers and mashes them all together. Hence the name Flatten. All right, so it's flat. So now we don't want to save it because because if we save it, we're going to save it as a single layer, obviously. What we want to do, we want to export it as a JPEG, GIF, and or PNG. And to do that, we're going to use the export or export as. In this case, obviously, we need to give it a name. It's going to be export as, okay? And dialog box comes up. What do we want to name it? And since it's going on the website, we want to name it a web-friendly name. We want to name it a name that Google's going to look and say, hey, I need to know a little more about that. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and put the, make it a nice, I said web-friendly name, Conrad Dobler. And I have a format I normally use for most of the cards. If you paid any attention to the site, you'll see all my card names pretty much all follow the same naming format. It'd be Conrad Dobler, New Orleans Saints, 1978. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid. New Orleans Saints, 1978. Topps football card. And what I've started doing, the very end, I'll put the card number, because you know all of the football cards have their own identification number. I haven't looked it up yet. I'll probably look that up later. I'm not going to do that right now. But here we go. There's our web-friendly name, Conrad Dobler, New Orleans Saints, 1978 Topps football card. You need to export, put it on the desktop there. I normally have a folder I put it in, but for practical purposes, I'm just going to put it on the desktop. Another box comes up. You can adjust the quality. And basically the quality, you can adjust that, and that affects the size of the image. And we'll talk just a little more about that. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and save it as a 90, quality 90. Here's some data. You can leave all that in there. That's just like behind the scenes data. Photographers are familiar with some of this. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to export it. You can save it with that data. You don't have to, it doesn't matter for what we're doing. You can make a comment here and it'll stay with the image. And certain programs you can look at, you can leave a comment in there. The programs, you can actually see the comment. But we're just going to leave it as is right now. We're going to export it. Conrad Dobler, 1978 Topps, New Orleans Saints Topps football card, or something to that effect. Okay, here we go. That's it right there, and we'll stop right here for the time being. All right, here we are. The web page I'm going to put the picture of Conrad Dobler on. Here's the 1978 Saints roster. And if you visited my site and looked at the rosters, you can see I like to put all the cards that I scan and put up on the site. I like to match them up with the roster. And there he is, Conrad Dobler, 1978 with the Saints. And just as a little quick note, I optimized it, the image. You want a small image, but you don't want to lose quality. There's all kind of image optimization programs that you can use. I use one called Riot. It's a plugin that goes with GIMP, and you basically makes the image smaller without making it look bad. And that's that's the end result. Up there, I got a couple other cards, one for Tony Galbraith, one for Ike Harris. And there it is. And I just want to say thank y'all so much for taking the time to watch. And go ahead and leave me a comment. If you liked what you see, leave me a comment. If you have any suggestions, leave me a comment. All right. Y'all have a good one.